I love you, but be so for real. Getting pregnant isn't what ruins your life. It's who you have that baby with that might ruin your life. Today, we're talking about the baby mama epidemic. You know, our latest victim to be, well, depends, we'll see, to be Latto. I don't know if we're going to call her a victim of it yet, but, you know, stay tuned. Before we get into it, like, subscribe, follow, leave me a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, okay? Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, YouTube. Leave me a review, subscribe, follow, do the things. It helps me continue to be a bad... Okay, so what is the baby mama epidemic, you may ask? It is the epidemic of high-performing, deeply successful women being impregnated by mediocre men, oftentimes ones with other baby mamas. So when we say epidemic, in case you don't know what that word means or needs some context, an epidemic is when something starts happening more than it should across an entire population. So when I say baby mama epidemic, I'm saying this pattern is happening a little bit too often to ignore it. So we're going to talk about it, okay? So this is not about shaming motherhood. I want to make that super clear before we get into it. Although I'm not a mother of a human child, I am a godmom, auntie, all those things, not, fake auntie, and I believe there's so much positivity to come out of having kids. So it is not about shaming motherhood. And it's not saying that motherhood should be the end of your life. I know so many women, whether they have newborns, 1-year-old, 2-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, that are still doing new things, still finding love again, still marrying again, all the different things. So it doesn't mean that motherhood is bad or I'm anti-woman or I think it automatically ends your life. This is about decision making on the who and being for real about the outcomes of what happens if you have a kid with the wrong person. People like to argue about the number of baby mamas someone might have, how much money they have, the status they have, how they feel they may or may not have treated other women in the past. But the real deep question is, what is the quality of the man and what emotional, personal support is that man going to provide to said mother of his child? What resources outside of money can he provide to the child and to the mom, not only during pregnancy, but even after giving birth for those 18 years? Can she rely on him to be a support system in this thing we call life? Are you leaving the situation better or worse off? What contributes to the rapid spread of baby mamas? Let's break down the arguments. Let's get to the root of it all. People like to argue that, oh, well, he has money, she has money, whatever the case may be. It's okay. They can pay for nannies, they can pay for childcare, but wealth does not erase consequences. All it does is soften the blow, right? So I like to think of money as the lubricant to all of life's problems. And I still stand firm on that belief. However, lubricant and solving a problem are two different things. You still got to know what to do with it. Just because you got it wet don't mean you know what to do with it. Okay? So that being said, access that the child may have to wealth, opportunities does not mean that they have a stable childhood, healthy emotional connections, healthy attachment styles that will enable them to be independent, not financially, but emotionally, physically, to have a fulfilling life. Like, do we think that Elon Musk's kids have a stable childhood, regardless of how much money and opportunity he has, or if you agree with his viewpoints or not? He has 14 kids that we know of. Do you think that all 14 of those kids have a stable, loving, compassionate lifestyle right now? Do you think they feel cared for, all of them, by their father? Okay. Now, also, I want to bring up something that Bell Hooks talks about in one of her books on there is a very big difference between care and love. So there's a very big difference between care and love. So Bell Hooks literally says love is an action. So just because someone cares about you doesn't mean that they're loving you properly. Providing is not love. And a true, stable home needs love, not just care. Money can only hide dysfunction and not fix it. And the reason, so people argue why don't we call Rihanna a baby mama? Why don't we say that she's part of the baby mama epidemic? And there's a huge reason, and it's not because she's a billionaire. It's not because not only is she a billionaire, that she has a man who also has his own wealth. It's not because of that. The reason that she is not a baby mama and is not part of the baby mama epidemic is because A$AP Rocky, one, does not have multiple baby mamas. He doesn't. And the number doesn't always matter. In this case, it's like, it matters. He's able to give his undivided attention to the kids in one household. So that's number one. Number two, he's an active participant in the lives of his kids. You see him even doing some of his commercials, brand deals with the kids involved. And he walks you in a day of the life of like, okay, what it's like with these kids. And I know that everything in life, there is some extent of marketing, some extent of things being staged, but when it comes to small kids, like babies, toddlers, I truly feel that there's some things you can't fake, and you can see the care and the love that he has for his kids and that his kids have for him. 3, he's not competing with his woman, right? Because Offset, some men are competing. Even Tia Mowry talked about like the reason why she ended up getting a divorce is because she felt like her husband was insecure about the roles that she was getting and that he wasn't getting. And A$AP Rocky does not give that. He gives, I support my woman supports me. He has his own passions, his own things that he fights for. And he is in a partnership, not a competition on who's the baddest bitch of our relationship, okay? Nothing to do with the fact that they're billionaires. So let's get that clear. Going back to the number of baby mamas, because I did just say it matters in the case of A$AP Rocky that he don't got no baby moms. He has a partner, a life partner whom he is raising a family with. However, matters even more than that because it shows like how not only does it show like the spread of the baby mama disease as a pattern of like, oh, you have these other baby moms. You must have said potential to spread this epidemic further. But then also, I think about how it doesn't matter how much money you have. Your resources are going to be spread across multiple kids now. Not just financially, but also your time. Like we were saying with A$AP Rocky and Rihanna, like his time could go into their kids. But if you got baby mom in California, you got another baby mom in Atlanta and another in Philly, again, money, number one, but number two, time, care, love, attention, all those things are being spread across. I remember, speaking of TMRE again, I remember in the game, I feel like if you haven't seen the game, watch the game. It's on Netflix now. When Derwin had got that other lady pregnant, I don't even remember lady name, my heart dropped. And it's not because he had been with another woman or nothing, because they both did their thing. They was finding themselves, whatever the case may be. But it was the fact that, so I'm going to get back with you. Now, before me and you even start a family together, if that's what we decide that we want, some of your resources are going elsewhere. That would piss me off. That would be my 13th reason. Because no, what are you talking about? Now, even though, like, of course, you don't want to be with a man who does not take care of kids, even if they're not your kids. That's a whole other tangent. But, like, to me, no, it's related. It's related. Let me get into it for just 1 minute. If you're willing to have a baby with a man who is not actively involved in the kids that he already has, you are part of the baby mama epidemic. And I kind of feel bad for you, but don't all the way. Because you could see, like, he's not involved with them kids. You'll be spending time with him. So you know where, like, this is your man, right? So, like, you know how much time and care and love he give to them kids? Okay. But anyway, like I was saying, I would never want to be with someone who doesn't give love and care to any kids that they have, whether they're mine or not. But at the same time, I have to wonder if this kid is a new child. Like, the child, in this case in the game, is like the child is not even born yet. So when the baby is like small and when the mom is pregnant, like, a good person, whether you go together with the lady or not, is going to show up. They gotta go show up to the appointments. They gotta, make sure the mom is cool. If she has any, like, health complications during the pregnancy, they need to be taking care of that, both emotionally, and physically, financially, all that. So I just feel like already you got a baby mom and me and you go together. I'm sharing you. I am sharing you. Point blank, period. Now, talking Latto and 21 Savage. So we know for a fact that he has at least 3 kids with 2 other women. One of them he may or may not be married to. We don't know. Because, so she did file for divorce in 2023. And I checked that divorce records are all public. At least in the jurisdiction that they're in. And there is no record that the divorce has been finalized. Why? It's 2026. I know divorces do be taking a little minute. But, like, we don't have no counter things. We don't have, like, no other. Like, it's just like, oh, it was filed. I feel like he told her, go ahead and file it so my other bitch could get off my back. But even that's number one. Because, like, I believe that people can be getting divorced and separated for a long time. I understand I'm a child of divorced parents. So it do take a while, even after the people really are not together. They're not going together, all that. But it's like to bring another kid into it before that is finalized. And at the end of the day, when a divorce is not finalized, because I just watched that thing with Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian, the Untold thing on Netflix. If that divorce not finalized, guess who is still in charge? The wife. So something happened. Say something happened to Latto baby dad. Say something happened to 21 Savage. God forbid. I'm knocking on wood right now. Say something happened to him. And he end up in the hospital like Lamar Odom. Even if it's not his fault, right? Car accidents. Life is crazy. Who would be in charge of who could see him? Coming out of the hospital? Is he going to stay on life support? What kind of care he's getting? Is he want to stay in that hospital, go to another one? It's the wife. Even though she filed for divorce. So I just want us to keep that in mind. Like, I'm not judging her for being with someone who is ending a relationship with someone else. But why bring a kid into that situation? Because legally, when right now, until it's done, because legally, something happened, you're not getting nothing. You do get some stuff if he has a living will. But do we think 21 Savage has a living will? Okay. He can't even get his divorce finalized. Come on now. Now, I do believe, this is going to be controversial, I do believe that there are cases where quality can overcome quantity. And my example is going to be Cardi B and Offset. Don't drag me yet before I say why. The reason that Cardi B and Offset had to go their separate ways is because of what I talked about earlier, the competition. Offset, his little ego was not getting patted, caressed, cared for like he needed it to be. And his wife, blew up very fast. Like, I mean, after grinding and hard work, but I mean, like, she exceeded him in popularity, in money, in awards, all those things. So because of that, he started feeling some type of way. Kinda like Tia Mari's husband, why she had the divorce. That is why they don't go together. But he did have, how many baby mamas he had? He had 3 baby moms, something like that. 3 baby moms, 4 kids at first. Anyway, because he actually committed to a life with Cardi B via marriage, even though he messed it up. And even one of his baby moms spoke about how once he got with Cardi, he started showing up in his other kids' lives. And Cardi had always made sure that them kids was invited to their Christmas, was invited to birthdays and all that, and that the kids was part of her kids' life. So they was all siblings, for real. So even though he do got all them baby moms, she wasn't part of the baby mama epidemic. Even though he said that on that tweet or whatever he put where he was like, oh yeah, you still my baby mom. No, she's your ex-wife, sir. Get it straight. You literally integrated with her and her family. And you're still integrated with her and her family in more than just a baby mom way. Let's come on. Moving on. Now, Cardi B and that man, what's his fucking Stefan Diggs. Cardi, why you do that? Why did you do that? It's kind of a tangent because I still, even in that, because first of all, I still don't even want to call her a baby mom. And this is why I don't want to, because she's just an outlier. Do you understand that, like, she gave birth and then popped up right on the stage, world tour, not your girl's tour. It was her tour, okay? She's just an outlier. Like, Cardi just is something different. She's just built different. She's not like the rest of us. But she ain't need to do that with Stefan Diggs. She ain't need to do that. And whoever you date next, Miss Belcalis, as one of your fans, don't get that man a baby. Don't do it. But if you do, I know you're going to be all right because you just built different than the rest of us. I feel like I shouldn't even be bringing you into this conversation because you're just built different. Because I don't know how you're doing that. I get my period and I'm like, I can't do nothing for a week. God bless you. God bless you. And whatever is in them genes, in them, the dopamine you got to sustain that willpower and that motivation, please, more power to you. Love you, Cardi. I'm done my Cardi rant right now. I'm done. I know that was a lot, but clearly I love her. Now, what are the societal narratives and patterns that contribute to this epidemic? My favorite to talk about is the high achieving good girls to baby mama to a mediocre man pipeline. These are the girls that aren't exposed to real world relationship dynamics because they were busy with like a sport, acting, homeschooled, and when they actually became grown, got out of a Disney bubble, got out of any kind of bubble they were in, homeschool bubble, athlete bubble, and they was able to make their own decisions on who to talk to, they ain't know what they was doing because they didn't make the dumb mistakes early. They ain't have time to. They weren't allowed to make the dumb mistakes early because they were like doing world-changing, life-changing big things. Now, my example, biggest example, Naomi Osaka and Cordae. Show of hands for how many people actually knew who Cordae was before Naomi Osaka. I will raise my hand, but I am a fan of rap. I didn't know what he looked like though. I just knew some of his music. He was performing at Lollapalooza a year that I went because I looked at and I was like, okay, wait, let me listen to some of his songs. Okay, cool. I might want to go see him perform if I can. Mind you, he's performing early at like 2 p.m., 1 p.m. Everybody knows like it doesn't really start getting good till like 3. Anyway, that was rude. That was mean. I don't have nothing against that guy, I don't think, but I just had to keep it real there. But the amount of shielding and structure that Naomi had to have growing up to achieve the level of success and greatness in tennis that she did at such a young age had to be extreme. When was she gonna date the little boy she wasn't supposed to be dating and mess up and get her feelings hurt and learn from it? She wasn't. She had no time. Even if her parents did for some reason allow it, there was no time. She was getting reps on the tennis court. She was running. She was figuring out what she was going to eat. And then she had to go to school somehow, even if it was homeschool. She had no time. And then with tennis, the what you call it, the matches, I'm not a big tennis person, but like the matches and all that, the whatever things, they have to go to different countries, go to different states, boom, 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 here, there. No, she had no time to learn about this is how you pick a man to have a baby with. This is how you pick a man to have a relationship with. Oh, this man is dating me because it looks cute and I'm something different than what he's used to. She had no concept of that because how could she? She's new to this. She's not true to this. So then when a little man that gives some excitement, he a little rough around the edges, he rap, show her some attention. Baby, before she was as famous as she is now, no offense, but like that type of man was not checking for her, looking for her, or wouldn't have even been in contact with her, wouldn't have seen her, right? Like she's on the tennis court, rough around the edges, men ain't on no tennis court. So she sees something different, something exciting, like, ooh, maybe I could feel something with this man. She go ahead and she do the dumb thing. Now, we all know our little hood men, they love to give you a baby. They love to be like, oh, yeah, let me give you my kids, da, da, da. Because her brain is not fully developed and she doesn't know the narrative, she don't know the stories, she's like, oh, my gosh, he loves me. He loves me. He wants me to have his... Yes. I feel something. This is what love is supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to be. Now your career hadn't been the same since. And tangent, still related, I do think that if you have the right partner, women can have a kid and continue to achieve bigger, better, greater things if you have a supportive partner, a supportive co-parent. However, professional athletes are the only exception for women because your body is not the same. A lot of moms talk about how you have that kid and you literally, like, the version of yourself before you had the kid dies. Like, it's dead. You were just like a different, like, of course you're you and you should, in a healthy dynamic, keep things that make you you outside of being a mom. But there are certain parts of you that are just no longer with us. And then your body, like, you gave birth. You gave birth. And, like, no matter how much you work out, no matter how much time you spend in the gym or try to incorporate your kid into workouts, there's something maternal about feeling guilty of spending time away from your kids. But, like, when you are an athlete at Naomi Osaka's level, you have to spend hours and hours and hours training, especially when you're coming back from having a baby. So, unfortunately, I do not believe that professional Olympic level athletes, moms, can have kids at the peak of their career and think they're going to still be at the peak of their career. It's unfortunate. It's not fair. It's not fair, but it's just what it is. You can fight me on that if you want, but I don't think you're going to win. And now they don't even go together. Now they don't go together. And he don't even make more money than you. So what did you leave that situation with, baby? But a baby. God bless, though. I pray that she finds fulfillment through whatever she does outside of tennis and being a mom. My other example of our high performing to mediocre man child example, Holly. I don't even know how to say her name. Halle Bailey and DDG. Unpopular opinion, but I think Holly might be a little bit crazy. And it's cool. I'm crazy too. And not even just because she had the baby with him, but some of them texts that I was seeing. I'm not saying she ain't get abused, though. I'm not saying that. I haven't done enough researches on the matter. I think they both was wrong, to be honest. I think they both did things. But what is hard to know is, was she doing stuff as a result of him? You know what I mean? Because somebody who's abusing you, like, very covertly, it starts to do some stuff up here. And this starts to not work right no more. So then you start acting out of character. Because they're, like, doing these little mind games. I'm not saying he did or didn't do it. I don't know. What I am saying is, I feel like we don't know enough on one side or the other. So I'm going to just keep my mouth shut on that part of the situation. But the fact of the matter is, she was homeschooled, Disney, whatever, all the stuff. And her sister talk about how they was very sheltered, being in movies and shows from a young age, and they didn't have time to learn how to date. Same thing applied with Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer has been that girl, Akilah in the Bee type-ish, okay? But then who she have a baby with? I don't even know the man's name. That, like, and not that the person has to be known, because I don't know. Okay, let me give you an example. I don't know Paris Hilton's husband's name, but what I do know is that man is a real estate mogul, whatever. That's what I do know about that man. I know that man was getting to it before her, and God forbid anything happened with them, he gonna get to it after her, and same with her. So I'm not saying they have to be known, but the man is not only not known, he ain't getting no money. What's he doing with his life? He ain't doing nothing. But the same thing. She had all that discipline, all that time where she was supporting her family. I know she talked about how she felt like, oh wow, it was a lot of pressure, but she also appreciated her family, all that. And I think her family did the best job that they could as far as trying to make sure she was grounded, making sure she learned about financial literacy, not taking her money as far as like stealing and stuff. Britney Spears' parents and all that. Like, I think her parents did the best they knew how to do, which was a really, really good job. However, that dating, because now, look at you, your baby dad hit you in your house that you pay for. A mess. Now you're the one with the career who's always booked and busy and getting money, and you're the one who is the primary caregiver, caretaker, love giver to the child. And then I won't even talk about it, but like Sky Jackson, I'm gonna just say Sky Jackson is the same pipeline. Now, I also want to talk about another societal norm pattern that contributes to this epidemic, and it is the romanticization of the ride or die and having his baby. We love to be like, well, let me not put myself into that. Society love to be like, I held him down, I had his baby, which means I'm loyal, which means that's how you love, that's how you be a good woman. And we be confusing sacrifice for value. I'm gonna let that one land. Sacrifice does not equal value. And I even think about the things that I was raised, not like my parents raised, but like society in general raised me. Like thinking of like Beyonce and Jay-Z song '03, Bonnie and Clyde. Like, what is she saying it? Y'all don't want me to sing, so I'ma like say whatever she says. She's like, oh yeah, like I would risk my life for you. Like, give me the gun, I'll hold it. Oh yeah, I don't care if the cops is coming. What? And that, first of all, that song hits. I'm still listening to that song in 2026 and probably forever. So I'm not saying don't listen to a song. But what I'm saying is when you're hearing that type of stuff before you've experienced life and you're like, yeah, this is a good song. Oh my God, this is what love is. When you go to find your little partner, if you haven't experienced things, you're going to look for those things that you heard in that song that you love. And then even thinking about movies, like for my Black listeners, Baby Boy, like, oh, she had the kids with him, or she had the kid with him, and it's like he just had to grow up and she waited, and then once he grew up, then they was together and had another baby. First of all, I should have never had the first one with your bum self to begin with. Second of all, what is the weigh-in? I got this one kid. My son need a new pappy. He need a new pappy. He do. And fast. I'm not waiting for you. Now, third thing that is contributing to this very concerning epidemic that we have is the hyper independent woman arc. Now, I believe 100,000% that women should always have a way to get it on their own. Even if they're not actively doing it at this moment, they should always have done it, learned how to get to it on their own, so that if anything happens or they want something that their husband doesn't align with buying or whatever the case may be, they have it on their own or can get it on their own. So this is not saying the independent woman is the blame for the epidemic, but I think the messaging is like, women can do anything. We can be the breadwinner. We can do this. We can do that, which is true. But just because you can, does that mean you should, or that makes sense for you? Of course, if you are forced unexpectedly to be a single mom, or you thought you was being held down by your baby dad and you actually wasn't held down, and you start to learn how alone you feel in the situation, like someone's there, but they're not. Of course, you will be able to persevere. But why would you purposely say, it doesn't really matter who I have the kid with because I'm an independent woman. I make money. Latto says she rich, so she different than us. She could do what she want. Why would you, independent on how her situation is going to turn out, why would you put yourself in a situation where just because you can, you end up having to do those things? Knowing up here in this little coconut brain that there is a higher likely chance than not that this man is not going to be able to show up in the same way that you are going to be able to show up in a partnership, in a relationship, in parenting. So those are the 3 reasons I think that this epidemic has spread. Hyper independent, false lie, which really, in my opinion, is being subliminally pushed by men because it releases them from having accountability and true responsibility. Because if they train us to be like, yeah, I'm hyper independent, I don't need nothing, I don't need no man, I don't need this, I don't need that, bet I don't gotta do nothing then. You go and do that. You go be the caregiver. You go make the money. You go cook, clean, you go do that. I'll be here. So yeah, I think it's on purpose. And I think if anything, the men benefit the most from it. Not us, not women. Now there are cases where you may choose to have a child with somebody out of wedlock and you still end up better off. I think that Ciara having Future's baby was a good business decision for her. I'm not saying that I think that she went with him for business reasons. I don't know. I don't know enough about their whole thing. But what I will say is, remember how, I might be aging myself, but like growing up when we were kids and like early teens, whatever, they always called Ciara a hermaphrodite. And they always said she used to be a man, blah, blah, blah. She was born a man and they had to change it. They always was calling her all types of man this, man that. No matter what first of all, she's been gorgeous at least in her early career. No work. I don't know about now, but like been beautiful, been an amazing, talented dancer, good singer, good performer, before Future and after Future. But she could not get rid of the hermaphrodite claims. After she went with Future and she had Future baby, I've never heard anybody bring that up again. Never heard anyone bring up her being a hermaphrodite. Not once. Again, this is probably the first time me saying this is probably you remembering like, oh, everyone used to think she was a hermaphrodite. And she could, I don't even know. Regardless, it doesn't really matter if she is. But like that was the topic of conversation around her. Then I feel like after she went with Future is when it was like, oh my gosh, she's like the woman that we all want to be. Because even though, yes, she was a baby mama, she had Future Junior, whatever, or no, just Future because his Future name ain't Future. Anyway, she had baby Future. She eventually went and got her man, Russell Wilson, and all is well. All is fair in love and war, right? So I think that the transition that she made from like, oh, she's cool, we like her, we do think she's pretty, but hermaphrodite, to just, oh my gosh, she's a role model. Oh my gosh, she proves that like, oh, it's not the man. I mean, it's not you, it's the man. And oh, what happens when you make better decisions? Like, we are obsessed with her. Summer Walker has a song on one of her albums called Ciara's Prayer. Like, we are obsessed. And the shift did not start because of Russell Wilson. The shift started because she became our toxic king's baby mom. And therefore, our view of her as a result of her having his baby changed. And the whole conversation surrounding her sexuality, surrounding her seductiveness, her talent transformed. And that's why we don't call her a baby mom, because she upgraded. I like to say, like, in the long-term strategic thinking, are you left off better or worse from the situation? I feel like I don't have to defend why Kim Kardashian isn't called a baby mom, but someone brought it up to me, so I'm just gonna say, like, number one, she's an ex-wife, like I said about Cardi with her first man at least. But number two, Kim in the whole Kardashian empire is better off. I mean, if you want to know how, like, write me, comment, whatever, DM any of the things, but, like, I feel like it's self-explanatory. She's better off, baby mom or not. She's not a baby, like I said, ex-wife, but say she wasn't an ex-wife, say she was just a baby mom, still better off. So that's why she would not be a victim of this baby mama epidemic. Kim knew what she was doing, or like knew that the person that she was having a kid with was not going to leave her worse off. I guarantee you, if she thought she would be worse off if something happened between her and Kanye, she wouldn't have did it. Now, I'm gonna close here and say, being a mom does not mean you failed. It does not mean you're less valuable. It does not mean that you can't continue to achieve great things. And it should never mean that. However, there are real consequences to who you decide to have the kid with. And I want to say this, like, regardless, it is inspiring to see successful women become mothers. Because, for example, I had someone comment on a TikTok video I made about Latto a couple weeks ago saying, I feel like Latto's more relatable because I'm a mom, and now that she's becoming a mom, I really feel like I can relate to her. And I thought there was something so beautiful about that. So I just want to end this by saying this isn't about me judging moms or judging even if the women who I said, in my opinion, made some mistakes. But it's just about bringing awareness to a rapidly growing epidemic called the baby mama epidemic, and giving my thoughts so that maybe we can prevent the spread of the baby mama disease further. Make sure that you're subscribed on all the platforms, leaving reviews, follow on Instagram because I'm doing a little giveaway this week. Me buying you lunch instead of staying with that man or woman, person, whatever the case may be, at I Love You But Podcast, ILY But Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much, Bookies, for being here. Bye.